Do Jae-ha, an ordinary high school boy, loses his best friend, who was a juvenile police officer, in a terrible incident. Heartbroken, but determined, Jae-ha decides to follow the same path. With hard training and a strong will for justice, he faces dangerous criminals and fights to fix what's wrong. Can Jae-ha rise up and become the officer he wanted to be? Find out in this thrilling journey. The story starts in year 2020. Juvenile crime is worse than ever. The story begins with a young man sitting on a chair with a box full of money in front of him. A group of people has gathered him. The man says he is in charge of dividing the money, and soon he declares he will keep 80% of it. One of the men in the group gets angry, as well as says the business he is doing is unfair. He asks the guy how many deals the man had to make to take such a large share. Suddenly, two other men take out their weapons and demand to know how much the money is worth, as well as where it came from. The guy in question looks annoyed. He asks the others how they dare talk to him like that. But then, one of the men comes near him, grabs him by his collar, slams him to the ground, and starts walking toward the others. As he moves, he makes fun of them. Moreover, behind him, we see many injured men lie on the floor. The man takes out handcuffs and announces that they are all under arrest for crimes like illegal fundraising as well as doing violence. The guy is a part of the Juvenile Police, a special team created by the government to stop young criminals. This team hires students as police officers. The story jumps to 1 year ago. A student named Do Jae opens his eyes in classroom after his friend Jung-hwan Lee wakes him. Lee tells him class is over, and they decide to go to the snack shop. Jae-ha is just a regular student, living a normal life. After some time, Jae-ha listens to the news that talks about a new program where young police officers punish juvenile criminals. It has caused a lot of debate. While Jae-ha is listening to the news making weird expressions, his friend Lee shows Jae-ha his police ID card and tells Jae-ha he is now part of the Juvenile Police. Jae-ha asks him how he comes to school while working as a police officer. He explains that he still goes to school but only leaves for police missions sometimes. Jae-ha finds this strange, as well as asks Lee why he became a cop. Lee says it's a good job because it has a steady salary, respect from others, and the chance to help people. Jae-ha is surprised because Lee was not a good student and does not have good grades, so he asks how he even got in. Lee says he worked very hard for the entrance exam this time. As they walk, Jae-ha talks about going to a PC room to relax. Suddenly, a classmate named Seong Min-gyu appears and asks Jae-ha to lend him money. Lee comes to save Jae-ha and stops Gyu and says they do not have money to give him. Gyu notices Lee's police ID and begins to make fun of him for being part of the Juvenile Police. Suddenly, 3 more students join them and Gyu tells them they will play. He promises them thus time he will bring more people. Jae-ha feels uneasy. Lee warns Jae-ha to ignore Gyu and promises to protect him if Gyu causes any trouble. As they walk, Jae-ha and Lee talks about their old memories, but Jae-ha does not realize this will be his last real conversation with Lee. That night, the Juvenile Police entered a gambling center run by young criminals. Lee is shown fighting against them as well as calling for backup. Even though he is there all alone, he keeps fighting and almost has the situation under control. Suddenly, Gyu appears and recognizes Lee. Gyu notices that Lee is alone and taunts him. Lee warns him that backup will arrive soon and tells him to surrender. But Gyu refuses and attacks Lee instead, trying to defeat him. The two fight hard. Lee knows he just needs to hold out until his team arrives. But Gyu, who is a former boxer, is too strong. He overpowers Lee, beats him badly, and throws him through a window. The glass of window breaks and Lee falls to the ground, as everyone watches in shock, including Gyu. The next day, the news reports on the delayed backup and how Lee is now in critical condition. Jae-ha does not care about the excuses. He just wants Gyu to be punished. However, Gyu gets only a 3-month suspension, which he treats like a vacation. In the court, Gyu says what happened to Lee was just an accident. Later, Gyu mockingly gives Lee's police name tag back to Jae-ha, saying the police wanted him to return it. He tells Jae-ha to throw it away. Jae-ha tries to stay calm, but Gyu keeps testing him by talking bad about Lee. Finally, Jae-ha loses his temper and tries to hit Gyu, but Gyu easily blocks him and punches him in the face. Gyu keeps hitting Jae-ha and then throws him to the ground. Gyu taunts Jae-ha, asking if he wants to end up like Lee, who is now lying helpless in a hospital bed. He claims that Lee caused his own downfall by trying to stop them. A guy tells Gyu to stop before things get worse, so Gyu decides to walk away. Jae-ha is feeling hopeless. Lee was his only real friend. Jae-ha's father was abusive and often beats him when he was drunk, so Lee was the only person who truly understood him. Jae-ha cries and promises himself that he will never forgive Gyu for what he did. In 2020, the government launches the Juvenile Police program to fight young criminals. This is the story of Jae-ha, who decides to become strong and seek justice, no matter what it takes. While Jae-ha sits beside Lee in the hospital, a man enters the room. He introduces himself as Officer Lee Yong-rim, the detective in charge of Lee's case. Jae-ha and Rim greet each other, and Rim mentions that he has heard about Jae-ha and has been wanting to meet him. He then asks Jae-ha to step outside for a quick chat. Outside, as they sit on a bench, Rim tries to motivate Jae-ha. He tells him there's still a chance that Lee might wake up and apologizes for what happened to him. Rim explains that he was Lee's senior, and Lee was part of the juvenile police team under his supervision. Rim shares that although Lee wasn't the best academically, physically, or in practical evaluations, he had the heart of a true police officer. Rim recalls how he learned a lot just by observing Lee's determination and spirit. He also tells Jae-ha that Lee spoke about him often, calling him a friend who was terrible at video games. Rim adds a story about a neighborhood friend who was going through tough times, similar to Jae-ha. He also tells him, when Lee became a juvenile police officer, he made it a point to take them to the PC cafe and treat them to ramen. As Rim stands to leave, he tells Jae-ha not to lose hope, and that he and Lee might get another chance to spend time together soon. Before leaving, Rim hands Jae-ha a card and asks him to contact him if anything happens. Just as Rim begins to walk away, Jae-ha suddenly stands up and asks if he can apply for the juvenile police program. Rim looks at Jae-ha and asks if this is about revenge. He explains that being a juvenile police officer requires proper skills to catch criminals, including combat and martial arts. Rim advises Jae-ha that he cannot let emotions drive his decisions. Jae-ha feels frustrated and helpless. He tells Rim that Gyu has returned to school as if nothing happened. Jae-ha says he tried facing him, but Gyu beat him up again. Jae-ha's anger grows as he says it's unfair for Gyu to walk free. He insists that Gyu deserves punishment and declares that Lee didn't become a police officer for justice to end this way. He looks determined. He says he will catch Gyu and make things right. Rim listens quietly and seems to think deeply about something. Finally, Rim tells Jae-ha that unfortunately, the hiring time for the juvenile police program is closed. However, he mentions that if a strong reason arises, it might be possible for Jae-ha to get in, though it won't be easy. Rim warns that even if Jae-ha applies, there's no guarantee he will be accepted. He asks Jae-ha if he is still willing to try. Jae-ha looks determined and nods. 6 months later, in an office in Yeongdongpo district, Gyu and his team are waiting for food to be delivered when a man forcefully comes into the room. The man accuses Gyu of stealing his money through the gambling site Gyu operates. The man is furious. He threatens to kill Gyu and his team. Gyu steps forward to handle the situation. As the man continues to shout threats, Gyu suddenly punches him hard. Gyu blames the man for losing money and sarcastically asks if anyone forced him to gamble. Before the man can respond, someone else enters the room. Gyu looks confused at first, but then recognizes the person. It's Jae-ha. Jae-ha removes his cap, revealing his face, and Gyu asks how he managed to find their hideout. Jae-ha does not respond and gets ready to fight. He charges at Gyu with his fist clenched. Gyu easily saves himself from the attack and counters. This time, Jae-ha narrowly avoids getting hit, but Gyu quickly overpowers him and begins beating him badly. As Jae-ha struggles, he remembers Rim's warning. Rim had told him that fighting Gyu directly would be almost impossible. Jae-ha's chances of winning were less than 5%. Rim didn't believe Jae-ha could beat Gyu and had said as much. This memory fuels Jae-ha's anger. Months earlier, Rim had handed Jae-ha a simple rubber band for training and told him to practice his throws 10,000 times while also improving his cardio. Jae-ha had been confused, but Rim explained a famous Bruce Lee quote, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." Rim advised Jae-ha to focus on endurance and staying on his feet, biding his time until the right moment to strike. Back in the present, Jae-ha recalls Rim's words as he endures Gyu's attacks. He waits patiently for the perfect moment to act. According to Rim, Gyu would be at his weakest the moment he throws his strongest punch. When that moment arrives, Jae-ha pulls out a pair of handcuffs, locks one onto Gyu's wrist, and uses the momentum to throw Gyu onto the ground. Gyu is shocked, and Jae-ha begins punching him relentlessly. As he fights, Jae-ha thinks of his friend Lee and hopes he is watching. He wishes for Lee to wake up soon, so no one else has to suffer like they did. Jae-ha is determined to make Gyu pay for his crimes and the pain he caused. The other members of Gyu's team watch in fear as Jae-ha unleashes his anger. One by one they flee the scene, terrified by Jae-ha's transformation. Jae-ha, breathing heavily, stands over Gyu, who is now badly injured and unable to fight back. It took 6 long months of preparation, but Jae-ha is finally ready to declare Gyu's arrest. He announces, "Seong-min Gyu, for illegal gambling, embezzlement, and assaulting an officer, you are under arrest. You've been caught red-handed as a criminal." Jae-ha has captured all the criminals and already contacted the police station. He is sure that Detective Rim will arrive soon. But to his surprise, 2 police officers arrive instead, and Rim is nowhere to be seen. Jae-ha tells them he is the one who reported the incident, and then asks about Rim. One of the officers says it's the first time he's heard that name. Confused, Jae-ha asks about Gyeongpo police station, but the officer replies that they do not know of it. They say they are from Yeongdongpo District Police. Jae-ha feels shocked and confused. The officer then asks if Jae-ha really caught all these people himself because there is clear evidence of violence. Jae-ha hesitates, but finally admits it. The officer notices Jae-ha is still a student and tells him that he has committed a crime. Jae-ha is now under arrest as a suspect, even though he was the one who reported the incident. Jae-ha feels like everything everything is falling apart. At the police station, an officer questions Jae-ha. He asks if Jae-ha has been training with Detective Rim from Jumpo Police Station and planned this incident together. Jae-ha admits it. The officer decides to wait for Rim to arrive before making any decisions. Jae-ha feels scared and realizes he made a mistake. He didn't even know this wasn't Mapo District. After some time, Rim finally arrives at the station and introduces himself. The officer tells him that he has completed the investigation and that Jae-ha can leave now. Rim thinks Jae-ha is an idiot for causing so much trouble. Outside the station, Jae-ha screams out of frustration. He feels like he has ruined everything and does not know what to do. Rim explains that since Jae-ha directly attacked someone, it could be considered a crime. If the other person is injured, Jae-ha could face a charge of assault. Even with a settlement, there would still be punishment, possibly up to 7 years in prison or a fine of 10 million won. Jae-ha becomes terrified, but Rim tries to calm him down. He tells Jae-ha that it's likely he will only get a suspended sentence. Jae-ha then asks about his dream of becoming a juvenile police officer. Rim teases him, saying that it's obviously not going to happen. He points out that someone with a criminal record cannot be selected. Jae-ha feels hopeless. Rim reminds him that catching a criminal alone does not guarantee he will become a juvenile police officer. Angry as well as frustrated, Jae-ha shouts at Rim, saying he trusted him for 6 months and worked so hard. Now it feels like all his efforts were wasted. Rim reassures Jae-ha, saying there's no need to worry. Everything is going according to plan. He tells Jae-ha to follow him because there's somewhere they need to go. Jae-ha looks confused but follows Rim. While sitting in the car, Jae-ha asks where they are going. Rim tells him to wait as well as to open Nurtube on his phone. He asks Jae-ha to check the recent news. Jae-ha opens Nurtube and is surprised to see himself trending on the news. The news says that a student recently captured the leader of a gambling organization single-handedly. Jae-ha is shocked and wonders how this happened. Then he realizes it must be the CCTV footage from earlier. The video is spreading quickly across various online communities. Jae-ha asks Rim if he reported this. Rim looks happy and says he made some effort and it worked out fast. He then asks Jae-ha if he remembers what Rim said 6 months ago, that he needed to show something convincing. Rim explains that the reason he trained Jae-ha wasn't just to make him a juvenile officer, but to create a strong impression. Rim says that this performance of catching the criminals has created a buzz. People, including the police force, are paying attention. Public opinion is building, and this is the perfect time to propose hiring Jae-ha. Everything is going according to Rim's plan. Later, Rim is seen talking to Kim Ye-jin, the police chief of Jumpo Police Station. He requests special approval for Jae-ha to join the juvenile police team. Rim argues that Jae-ha is suitable based on his physical ability, as well as character, and as a friend of Lee Jong-won, he meets the qualifications for an exceptional hire. Kim seems surprised and says she didn't expect this. She admits she gave the project to Rim because no one else wanted to take it on, but now it seems Rim is being more emotional than usual. She asks if it's because of that incident. Rim assures her he is only doing his job and making the right decision. Kim mentions that Jae-ha is under investigation for assault. Rim explains that according to the Juvenile Police Manual, there's a clause that allows certain rules to be bent in special cases. He plans to use that clause during the investigation period. Kim warns Rim to be careful since Jae-ha is already in the public eye. Rim promises not to let anything go wrong. Outside, Jae-ha waits nervously. When Rim comes out, Jae-ha runs toward him, asking if everything is okay. He is especially worried about the assault investigation. Rim tells him to follow him to the gym because there's someone he needs to meet. On the way, Jae-ha asks if he has been hired. Rim tells him that the decision has been made, but it's not as an official officer yet. Jae-ha has been hired as an apprentice. At the gym, Rim opens the door, and Jae-ha sees two guys fighting each other intensely. Rim tells Jae-ha that these two will be his teammates during the apprenticeship. The two fighters stop, and Rim gathers them together to introduce Jae-ha. Rim explains the conditions of Jae-ha's apprenticeship. It will last 2 weeks. During this time, Jae-ha must meet 2 requirements. First, he must receive an A grade in evaluations from the 2 team members, and second, his team must rank first among the 24 juvenile police teams in Seoul. Rim warns Jae-ha that if he fails, his hiring will be revoked, and he will still face the assault case. Jae-ha feels shocked. The other members introduce themselves to Jae-ha, and it is day 14 of Jae-ha's apprenticeship evaluation beginning. The basic setup of juvenile police teams includes 3 members. This is because minors often make poor decisions and struggle when dealing with criminals. Meanwhile, team members are chosen for their physical abilities. But even by those standards, Jae-ha is considered weak. No matter how much training he gets in a short time, fighting a trained juvenile officer is impossible. He has already lost all motivation, feeling anxious about his punishment. Jae-ha knows he has to survive among these guys to fix his past mistakes. His opponent is about to punch him again, asking if he thinks sparring is a joke. In the next moment, Jae-ha goes flying and crashes into a wall. The timer runs out, and Rim announces that the sparring is over. Jae-ha's teammate is frustrated with his performance, wondering how they can go on missions with someone like him. This teammate is Park Kyung-jun, 18 years old, from Mapo District's Juvenile Police Team 2. After hearing Park's complaints about Jae-ha, Rim turns to another teammate for his opinion. The teammate says Jae-ha may not be good enough now, but pushing him too hard seems unfair. His name is Ryu Tail, 18 years old, also from Mapo District's Juvenile Police Team 2. Tail thinks that if Jae-ha gives his best effort, he will improve since he managed to hold on. He walks over to Jae-ha and offers his hand, suggesting that they should try working together. But suddenly, his expression changes as he quietly reveals that he actually wants to get rid of Jae-ha, calling him pathetic. Tail asks Rim about his plan for Jae-ha, saying he is far from meeting the standards. Rim tells him that Jae-ha is the one who caught Seong-min-gyu by himself. He also reveals that he trained Jae-ha based on a gut feeling, and in 6 months, Jae-ha managed to take down a pro with one throw. Tail argues that real-life situations have too many variables. Rim laughs and says there is nothing they can do now since the decision is already made. Then he suggests thinking positively about it. After that, he enters a room and tells a guy that it's getting late, so they should have a proper talk. The guy is Seong-min-gyu. Somewhere else, Jae-ha sits in pain, his whole body aching. He thinks Park hit him too hard and decides that next time, he will headbutt him. As he wonders what to do next, he realizes he can handle Tail, but Park is a bigger problem. He seems like the kind of guy who causes trouble just for fun. He also worries about how to get first place. If he fails the evaluation, he will end up with a criminal record. The more these anxious thoughts pile up, the more he wonders what he is supposed to do. Before he realizes it, he is standing in front of his house. In the winter, icicles form on the ceiling, and even with the windows closed, the cold wind sneaks inside. There is only one rule when entering the house: never wake Dad. If his dad wakes up after drinking, he will beat Jae-ha black and blue. Last time, Jae-ha accidentally woke him up and almost lost a tooth. Living like this, he keeps asking himself the same question every day. When will he escape this nightmare? Lying in bed, Jae-ha wonders if he is making the right choices. Then he questions whether he can even do this at all. The next morning, an officer hands Jae-ha his identity card, telling him not to lose it and wishing him luck. Looking at the card, Jae-ha sees that he is in Team 2. He asks if there are more juvenile police teams. The officer explains that each district has 3 teams, and Jae-ha is on Mapo District's Team 2. Since this is still a pilot program, it is only set up in central Seoul. The teams are spread out from the Han River. Suddenly Rim joins them and asks if they should start discussing the mission now that everyone is here. He explains that after looking into it, he found out that Seong-min-gyu was not the head of the gambling ring. There was another source where he was collecting money. Their next target is the person above him. Rim shows Jae-ha and the others a picture of the guy, and they look annoyed at the sight of a fat man who seems like a total mess. But Rim tells them that just because he looks bad doesn't prove he is the one in charge. The key is not who he is, it's about who is filming him. The scene shifts to a man entering a room and telling the fat guy that the boss wants to see him. The fat guy goes to the boss, who talks about uploading short videos and reaching 100,000 followers. Then, suddenly, the boss stands up and demands to know why the videos are getting fewer views. The scene shifts to Gyu telling Rim about a guy named Moon Jongbin. He is 19 years old and somewhat popular on social media. His main income comes from ad revenue and gambling sites. He makes a living by picking on nerdy kids at school, posting gambling links in his videos, and getting those kids to share them. This brings in more views, more ad money, and more victims for the gambling sites. It's a triple win for him. Each kid earns him 500, sometimes 800. So far, he has lured about 10 kids like this. With all the extra gambling money, he makes enough to buy a foreign car every month. If it were him, Gyu says, he would go crazy with that kind of money. But Jongbin doesn't work alone. His whole crew consists of people who owe him money. If someone messes with them, things get ugly fast. The scene shifts back to the fat guy. His boss suddenly grabs his hand, shocking him, and then stabs a knife through it. He warns him to make up for this week's losses, or it won't end well for him. The boss is Moon Jongbin, 300,000 followers on Ostergram, running an illegal MCN. Jae-ha tells the team that the victims are not just limited to one person. There is a high chance that more people are suffering because of this. From now on, Team 2 will handle the case. Their mission is to gather evidence against Moon Jongbin, rescue the victims, and capture him. This is Ho Jae-ha's first mission. Park asks Rim if they can't just beat everyone up since they're all criminals. Tail tells him there is not enough evidence and no warrant, so how can they justify it? Park suggests looking for a law that fits the situation. Tail wonders if Park became a cop just to beat people. He believes it's hard to track illegal gambling sites with just a police badge, so first they should try to find the victims in the videos. He suggests finding out their identities first, then they can plan their strategy. Rim appreciates the suggestion, but wonders how they will find that person since the site is foreign, making it hard to get personal information. He tells Tail to speak up if he has any ideas. Jae-ha shows them the ID of the fat guy on his phone, saying he knows a way. The next day, we see the fat guy frustrated, not wanting to film anymore. He is Choi Jae-young, 17 years old, and a popular shorts account holder on Star. Suddenly, he gets excited because today he's meeting a girl who's a fan of his in person. He thinks some happiness might come from it. Suddenly, he hears someone call his name. It's Tail with the others, introducing himself as Jinju from Mapo District Juvenile Police Team 2. He questions Choi about Moon. Choi gets scared and starts running to save himself. Jae-ha gets nervous, but Park reassures him that Choi won't escape since Tail is fast when it comes to running. Tail stops Choi. It is revealed that Jae-ha made a fake profile with an AI-generated picture of a girl to lure Choi into their trap. Choi is on the ground, confused about what is happening. Tail tells him they are not here to interrogate him. They are here because they received a tip about Moon Jongbin's crimes. He asks Choi to cooperate with them. The scene shifts to Choi telling the team that he didn't mean to start this in the first place. He just liked doing dumb stuff with kids. Then, a video he posted randomly got a lot of attention, and Moon found out about him. He started doing creepy things because he had to get all the views he could. If he didn't, Moon could have posted a video of him showing his private parts. Everyone is shocked by this revelation. Park believes they have enough evidence to storm in, but Tail disagrees. He doesn't want others to become victims of Moon too. So, he suggests using bait to get them to reveal their true identities. Later that night at Moon's location, we see Jae-ha with Choi. He's pretending to be Choi's friend who will shoot a video with him. Park and Tail are watching from a distance using a mini-cam. They tell Jae-ha to gather intel and that they'll take it from there. Jae-ha takes a deep breath, thinking it's easy for him to not get caught since he looks like a loser. Choi takes him to greet Moon. While greeting Moon, Jae-ha sees a girl sitting on the floor in the room behind him. Moon slams the door, telling them to get lost. While Choi tells Jae-ha to go to work, a man appears behind them and starts to suspect Jae-ha. He approaches him, and Jae-ha gets nervous. Luckily, he manages to escape since the man is just focused on his jacket. The man tells Jae-ha to leave his phone outside. As Jae-ha tries to take out his phone, his juvenile police identity card falls out of his pocket. The man picks it up and asks Jae-ha about it with a scary face. Jae-ha gets scared but then punches the man hard. Another man shows up and starts beating Jae-ha. Park and Tail are stunned. Hearing the noise, Moon comes out of his room angrily shouting at everyone. Jae-ha apologizes to his teammates for getting caught. He tells them he's gathered most of the evidence and that they just need to arrest them all as criminals. He asks them to come quickly while he stands there, terrified, with his fists clenched. Moon mocks Jae-ha, asking what crimes he's arresting them for. Jae-ha begins listing all the illegal acts Moon and his people are involved in. But Moon quickly rejects all of them. Then, Moon opens his account and starts a live stream. He tells his audience that today he was preparing to shoot with Nurtube Jae-young, but suddenly these juvenile police came to his office, accusing him of running a gambling site and stealing Nurtuber profits. The audience starts making fun of Jae-ha. Moon then asks Choi if he has ever done something like that. Jae-ha tells Choi to clear things up once and for all, right there and then. Choi, scared to death, starts speaking. He remembers a tragic event from his past. He gets scared, and, to Jae-ha's misfortune, lies about Moon. Jae-ha is shocked. Moon believes it's time to leave since there are no witnesses or evidence. But suddenly, one of his men runs in and tells him he won 300 in one shot, despite his opponent having a full house. The audience gets confused, wondering if they're talking about gambling. Moon ends the live stream, enraged, and tells his man he messed it up. He threatens to kill him. Moon's men start running toward Jae-ha and Choi to beat them, but Park arrives to save them. He knocks out the men with just one punch, shocking Moon and the others. Tail tells Park to handle the bigger guys and orders Jae-ha to make sure Moon doesn't escape. Then, Park and Tail charge at the men, beating them one by one. Ryutil, a juvenile police officer, has excellent hand-eye coordination and speed, and his calculated fighting style achieves optimal results. His weakness is his naturally weak body. On the other hand, Park Kyung-jun, a juvenile police officer with a heavy build and a straightforward brute force fighting style, has the weakness of being simple-minded. Tail realizes they're outnumbered, and there are too many bad guys around. He thinks that if they keep stalling, they'll be at a disadvantage. Moon, worried, plans to escape to a safe place, but Jae-ha stops him. He mocks him, which enrages Moon. Moon tries to punch him, but Jae-ha blocks the attack with his arm. He's hurt, but compared to Seong Min-gyu, it's bearable. He gets closer to Moon, determined to finish this in one blow. As Jae-ha runs toward Moon, Moon pulls out a pocket knife and attacks him. One thing Jae-ha overlooked is that in a crime scene, you can't predict what kind of variables will happen. And right now, this is the variable. Holding the knife, Moon tells Jae-ha he'll push through and get out quickly. He tells Jae-ha to try what he was doing earlier. Jae-ha, scared, faces the fear of facing a weapon for the first time. He knows that if he gets stabbed, he will die. With survival instinct kicking in, Jae-ha makes the worst move possible. He approaches Moon and gets hit in the face. He falls to the ground. Moon mocks him, then escapes with his men. Park and Taeil are shocked, and Jae-ha is left stunned. Rim gets a call from Taeil, who tells him they lost track of Moon Jongbin. Moon came at them with a knife, and Jae-ha couldn't stop him. Taeil doesn't think Jae-ha is fit for this mission. After hanging up, he turns to Jae-ha and asks if he wants to quit being a juvenile police officer. He didn't mention it when they first met, but Taeil doesn't think Jae-ha is cut out for this job. He says if this keeps happening, it might be only a matter of time before Jae-ha is taken off the team. Taeil suggests that Jae-ha should think about whether he really wants to be a juvenile police officer. Jae-ha is losing control. He wonders what will happen if he quits. What about his punishment? He feels like everything is ending because of him. Suddenly, Park calls Taeil and tells him to come to Moon's office. A scared girl walks out. Taeil calms her down and asks about her connection to Moon. She explains that she knew him from a website. He asked her to create shorts with him, so she came to his office. But instead of filming, he tried to overpower and take advantage of her. Taeil sighs, suspecting that Moon has contacted other girls too. If this continues, more people will get hurt. After hearing this, Jae-ha becomes scared and starts running fast, making everyone confused and shocked. Park wants to follow him, but Taeil suggests they secure the evidence first. He believes they won't be able to catch Moon Jongbin otherwise. While Jae-ha wanders the streets, determined to find Moon, he gets a call from Rim, who just found out that Jae-ha left suddenly. Jae-ha loses control and curses at Rim. Rim tries to calm him down, asking if that's all his will is. These words hit Jae-ha hard. Rim explains that this field is full of unpredictable situations. Sometimes things happen that they can't control. But what matters is pushing forward no matter what. That's what being a cop is about. He tells Jae-ha it's not too late to get his head straight. Jae-ha asks him what he should do. Now we move to a building where Moon and his men are hiding, and no one is chasing them. Moon punches one of his men, accusing him of failing today. The man apologizes. Moon tells him to keep a careful watch. He opens the door to a room, and the power is out. He hasn't been here lately due to his laziness. Moon walks toward a cupboard, trying to find a drawer. He checks his phone and sees a lot of notifications. He opens one and is shocked to see that his live stream, where he was exposed, has spread across the country through the news. He gets frustrated. He opens the drawer and finds a lot of money. He decides he'll deal with everything later. Whether his reputation is ruined or the gambling site is gone, as long as he has money, he believes that place will accept him. He steps out of the room, shocked to see his men lying injured on the floor. After a while, he starts smiling hysterically as he sees Jae-ha in front of him. Jae-ha, enraged, has finally found Moon. In a flashback from a few hours ago, we see Rim telling Jae-ha that he can find Moon. There is a lead. The office Moon set up also manages an online gambling site. Rim found the ledger, and the people working with Moon are all in debt to him from gambling. The site itself is overseas, but thanks to the ledger, they can collaborate with the cyber team. There are limits to tracking him down as a police officer. However, the earlier raid gave them an opportunity. Now that Moon Jongbin is considered a criminal, Rim has pulled up some information on him. The interesting part is that Moon has 3 offices under his name. One is the place Jae-ha just raided. Another is the office that Gyu ran, the one who supported Gyu. Rim falls silent and lets Jae-ha guess the 3rd location. Jae-ha guesses it's the place where his friend, Lee Jong-won, had his accident, the gambling den. Moon pulls out a weapon, and Jae-ha stands in front of him, remembering when Rim assured him that if he uses the weapon he has, Jae-ha can stop Moon easily. Unlike Park and Taeil, Jae-ha has proven himself with unconventional methods so far. Jae-ha runs toward Moon and pulls out a box of super spicy chili powder. He throws it at Moon, who gets shocked and can't open his eyes. That's Jae-ha's weapon, the element of surprise. Jae-ha punches Moon hard, sending him flying across the room. He is breathing heavily, while Moon struggles to get up. Moon's eyes turn red with fury, and Jaeha's are filled with anger as well. Without hesitation, Jaeha charges toward Moon. Sensing danger, Moon quickly grabs a dagger from the floor and stabs Jaeha's leg. Pain shoots through Jaeha's body. He tries to stay on his feet, but the pain is too much, and unfortunately he collapses, screaming. Moon rubs his burning eyes, struggling to catch his breath. His vision is blurry, and it feels like fire in his eyes. He wonders if Jaeha brought something to blind him. He curses him and decides that escaping is the best option. Grabbing his bag, Moon stumbles out of the room. This whole fight is a complete waste of time, he thinks. If Jaeha catches him now, it will all be over. Behind him, Jaeha refuses to give up. Dragging himself across the floor, he calls out, demanding to know where Moon thinks he is going. But Moon does not stop. He rushes out of the apartment, desperate to find a bathroom to wash his eyes. Frustrated and nearly blind, Moon bumps into a man outside. The man drops his cold drink, and his girlfriend gasps as his clothes get soaked. Annoyed, the man tells Moon to watch where he is going. He complains that Moon ran out so fast that they couldn't dodge him in time. Moon, still irritated, snaps at him, telling him to back off. The man gets angry, warning Moon about his foul mouth. He asks why Moon is acting rude when he is the one at fault. The girlfriend tries to calm him down, reminding him that kids these days are unpredictable. But the man insists that Moon should apologize. Moon, losing patience, glances at the cold drink in the girl's hand. Without hesitation, he grabs it and pours it over his own face. His vision clears instantly. Now that he can see again, he sighs and apologizes to the man for bumping into him. He even offers money as compensation, explaining that he is in a hurry and just wants to move on. The man is shocked by Moon's sudden change in behavior. He considers calling the police, sensing something is off. Just as Moon is about to hit him, Jaeha appears. He slams into Moon, pushing him away from the man. They both crash to the ground. People gather around, curious about the fight. Someone suggests calling the police. Moon is furious. He curses at Jaeha, frustrated that he was about to settle things quietly, but now everyone has seen his face. There is no running away anymore. His mind races. His reputation, his money, his business. Everything is at risk. Turning to Jaeha, Moon demands to know why he is so obsessed with him. Did something happen to his family? He does not understand why Jaeha is after him so badly. Jaeha stands up and pulls his hoodie over his arms. Then, he tells Moon about his best friend Lee, who cannot even use the bathroom properly because of what Moon did to him. Jaeha then challenges Moon to fight him right here. Moon eyes Jaeha's strange outfit, wondering why he is dressed like that. Meanwhile, Jaeha has a plan. He intends to use his jacket to block Moon's knife. The next second, Moon lunges at Jaeha with the dagger. Jaeha dodges. Moon attacks again, stabbing repeatedly. But each time, Jaeha narrowly avoids the blade. Moon's vision is still slightly off, making it hard to aim precisely. To make things worse, Jaeha has turned his jacket inside out, using it as a shield against the knife. Jaeha's strategy works. His jacket absorbs the impact of the knife while also throwing Moon off balance. It's like a bullfighter using a cape to distract a charging bull. Just as Lee Yong-rim had advised him, Jaeha found his own way to create an opening. Moon, blinded by rage, tries one last time to stab Jaeha. But once again, Jaeha dodges at the last moment, leaving Moon shocked and confused. Realizing he needs to change his approach, Moon moves quickly. A moment later, he appears behind Jaeha and wraps his arm around his neck, strangling him. Jaeha barely has time to react before Moon raises his leg and kicks him hard in the face. Jaeha is sent flying through the air. Moon laughs mockingly, impressed by Jaeha's clever tactics. He even shows some respect for his skills. But that respect quickly fades. He walks over to Jaeha, pushing his head against the ground. He taunts him, asking if he has any more tricks left. Lifting Jaeha's head, he dares him to try something crazy again. Jaeha is exhausted. He is bleeding, panting heavily, and struggling to move. He wonders if this is really the end. Moon does not wait. He prepares to strike again, but before he can, Jaeha makes his move. Instead of dodging, Jaeha grabs the knife with his bare hand, letting it stab straight through his palm. Moon is stunned. Is Jaeha really trying to block an attack with his bare hands? He warns Jaeha that stopping one strike does not mean the fight is over. Jaeha, despite the pain, smirks. He knows it's not over. But he is not trying to win. He is trying to hold Moon down. He then looks past Moon and asks, This should be enough, right? Moon freezes. Confused, he looks around. Then, someone comes sprinting toward them. A voice calls out, praising Jae-ha for holding on. It's Tail. Moon's eyes widen in horror. Tail grins and asks if he arrived too late. Moon realizes he is in deep trouble. Tail kicks Moon hard in the face, sending him flying. He takes a deep breath while Jae-ha watches him in silence. Tail turns to Jae-ha and asks if he is okay. Jae-ha, still in shock, does not respond. Tail notices Jae-ha's injured hand and tells him to focus on stopping the bleeding. He warns him not to pull the knife out yet. Jae-ha asks how Tail knew to come here. Instead of answering, Tail scolds Jae-ha for running off and causing trouble. He asks what Jae-ha would have done if he got seriously hurt. Jae-ha stares at him blankly, unsure what to say. Tail then admits he didn't expect Jae-ha to capture Moon, but he did really well. Jae-ha is surprised to hear this. They shake hands, and for the first time, Jae-ha feels a sense of accomplishment. The scene shifts to Moon's past. Moon was always popular because of his looks. People were naturally drawn to him, and he could get whatever he wanted. One day, a picture of him went viral on social media, getting an insane number of likes. That's when he realized he could make money from this. He created an account, and his followers skyrocketed. Soon, he started modeling, doing paid promotions, and even illegal ads. Anything that brought in cash. Around that time, he met some guys who were willing to invest in him. He took their money and set up an office, hiring muscle men to do the dirty work for him. He made a fortune and spent it just as recklessly. But greed has no limits. One day, while scrolling through social media, he saw a video of a guy dancing. It had an unbelievable number of likes. That's when an idea hit him. He could make money off these people too. He immediately tracked down wannabe influencers and recruited them. He trapped them in unfair contracts that were basically slavery. He took everything he could from them, and if they resisted, he forced it out of them. It felt like he ruled the world, and he thought it would always be that way. But his end came sooner than he expected. Back to the present, Moon is arrested. He screams and threatens to kill Jae-ha and Tail. Tail tells Jae-ha not to take his threats seriously. He explains that most criminals talk big, but do not actually do anything. Jae-ha laughs, almost hysterically. Tail sighs, irritated. He tells Jae-ha to go to the hospital while he handles the follow-up. Just as Jae-ha prepares to leave, a familiar face appears. A fat guy from before. The man approaches Jae-ha, wanting to thank him. Jae-ha looks shocked. The fat guy admits that they were all cowards, too scared to report anything. They lived like fools, constantly getting victimized. At one point, he even considered becoming trash like them. But after watching Jae-ha fight for them, he realized something. Why hadn't he fought back too? He reflected on himself a lot. With tears in his eyes, he thanks Jae-ha for saving them. Jae-ha listens quietly. Later, while heading to the hospital after receiving treatment, he thinks about the words of gratitude he received today. He feels strange. No one has ever thanked him before. As he sits in the hospital, he decides to contact Rim, letting him know that everything is over and he is heading for treatment. Rim praises Jae-ha for his hard work and sends him a video of Lee to watch on his way. Jae-ha checks the title and smirks. Why become a cop when there's money in it? He decides to tease Lee about this when he wakes up. The video starts, and Jae-ha laughs at Lee's confused expression. Lee introduces himself and admits that his grades in school aren't great. Jae-ha chuckles, knowing that Lee has always been bad at studying. Then, Lee jokes that his friend is even worse than him. Jae-ha's smile fades. His expression hardens. He asks, why did Lee bring him into this? The interviewer then asks the final question. Why does Lee want to become a police officer? Lee thinks for a moment before answering. He says he grew up in a place people call a slum. The friend he mentioned earlier lived there too. His parents were alcoholics. They would scream and fight every night, scaring him. So he stayed outside until they fell asleep. One night, he came home late, thinking they had already gone to bed. But instead, he ran into some local thugs who demanded money. Of course, he had none. They beat him up anyway. Without free school lunches, he might have starved to death. At times like that, he hated the world. That's when he decided. He needed to become strong. Truly strong, so he could protect himself. And if he could do that, maybe he could help others who live the same kind of life. Lee stands up and says that being a police officer is his way of proving himself. He wants to give hope to people in tough situations, to show them they can keep going. Jae-ha sits in silence, watching the video. Earlier, when the victims thanked him, he didn't understand what he was feeling. He never thought that someone like him, who had nothing, could actually help someone else. But now, he realizes, he does have a place in this world. As the video ends, Jae-ha laughs. Now he knows where he is headed. He wants to become a police officer. One person's sincerity became another's dream, and the story continues. Elsewhere, the victims of Moon's scam gather, wondering if they are really free now. The fat guy nods. The police have frozen all of Moon's accounts and seized his computers. One of them yawns, relieved. He can finally sleep peacefully tonight. Another guy turns to the fat guy and praises him. He is amazing, as he even posted a Me Too statement about this online. But the fat guy looks confused. He claims he didn't post anything like that. The group falls silent. If he didn't post it, then who did? Meanwhile, in a mysterious building, a voice speaks on the phone. Moon Jongbin has been dealt with. A man chuckles on the other end. He was about to cut ties with him anyway. Then he says, "Let's talk more about this in the next meeting." He hangs the phone. The other person on call is a young woman, deep in thought. She sighs, thinking, "Juvenile police. This is going to be a headache." Her name is Jong Minji. Following the Moon Jongbin case, and after his hand injury, Jae-ha spent the 2-week break before his training period focusing on both treatment and physical training. Unpredictably, he began to grow stronger, but the progress was slow. He had only grown a little. After one training session, Jae-ha lies on the ground, exhausted. Tail praises him, saying that he has definitely improved compared to before. Jae-ha, still catching his breath, asks about Park. He has not seen him around lately. Tail explains that Park is busy working to meet his quota. There are plenty of petty criminals, so he is likely dealing with them. Tail then reassures Jae-ha that they are all working hard to get him through the training period too, urging him to continue training like he has been. Determined, Jae-ha smiles and replies, "Yes." Lunchtime arrives, and they decide to grab something to eat. In the cafeteria, Jae-ha complains that the food is tasteless, but it's so bad that it's almost good. Despite the complaints, he continues eating sushi. Tail laughs and tells him to eat a lot, as it's only the police cafeteria. Jae-ha, unfazed, asks Tail about the juvenile police system. He admits he does not know anything about it. Tail mentions that he does not know all the details either, but shares the rumors. Excessive force used on minors by adult officers or internal police politics may have played a role. There are many theories, but what is clear is that it has become much harder for the police to punish juvenile offenders. Tail continues, explaining that only the highest-ranking police officers, like the chief of police and those at the rank of superintendent general or higher, know the full story. Jae-ha is shocked by the mention of so many ranks and wonders if he will need to learn all of them. Tail replies that the police are focused on protecting the nation, so they need to be as organized as possible. Jae-ha asks, what if he climb all the way to chief of police? Wouldn't that make him the first juvenile officer to do so? Tail thinks and says, there's no precedent for that. The system is still new. There's a brief silence before Tail coughs, clearly confused by the idea. The scene changes, and Rim, who is working the night shift, begins to explain to Jae-ha and Tail that being the chief of police is not a job just anyone can get. Jae-ha asks how it works. Rim explains that the chief of police is usually at least a deputy commissioner general level, and it's a position that requires evaluating every aspect of the police force. He adds that Jae-ha is not even a full-fledged officer yet, so dreaming of being chief is delusional. He also points out that Jae-ha struggles with his studies. The reality of the situation hits Jae-ha hard. Tail cannot believe how unrealistically Jae-ha is thinking. Rim, still curious, asks why Jae-ha suddenly decided on this goal. Jae-ha replies that since joining the force, he has felt a change in himself. He finds the work rewarding, and he truly wants to be a police officer. He adds that if he is going to do it, he wants to be the best. That's why he wants to aim for the top. Rim, intrigued, says that he wants to see Jae-ha try. Tail, shocked, questions Rim, wondering if Jae-ha even has to graduate from the police academy to become chief. Rim clarifies that while most chiefs are academy graduates, not all are. What matters is Jae-ha's ambition. He likes the reckless ambition that Jae-ha has. People call it having a goal these days. Tail warns Jae-ha that the promotion exams are incredibly difficult, and he is doomed. Jae-ha grumbles, saying he hates studying. Rim, overhearing their conversation, thinks to himself that the reality of becoming a police chief is not as easy as it seems. There will be a lot of dirty work involved, and one day Jae-ha will have to surpass him. He wonders if Jae-ha is truly capable of doing that. Suddenly Park appears, telling Rim that he should come downstairs for a moment. They received a call and brought in a few students. But something feels off about the situation. Jae-ha gets confused. The scene shifts to a police officer questioning two young men. He asks the first one, so he is saying this happened because he got it in the face. The second one is asked if he does not want to hold the other guy accountable. The bigger guy seems ready to spill everything, but the weaker one just wants to forget the whole thing. The big guy slaps him, demanding that he takes responsibility as he promised. The weak guy falls to the ground, and the big guy steps on his head, pushing it into the floor. Then he threatens him as he says, "Just press charges if he is upset." He admits he was wrong, but think about it. If this gets investigated, it won't just be him in trouble. After the earlier incident, we see the big guy walking through the streets, talking to someone on the phone and boasting about how he managed to escape from the police. Jae-ha, Park, and Tail are following him. Jae-ha can hear every word from a distance, and Park looks visibly annoyed. Suddenly, Jae-ha wonders why they are even tagging along. The scene flashes back to Rim explaining to Tail that the mission is all about gathering intel. They need to follow the suspect, who is a student under suspicion. Both the victim and the perpetrator are high schoolers. But the victim is scared of pressing charges. Meanwhile, the perpetrator is adamant that he should be punished. Rim hints that something smells fishy about the whole situation and questions the suspect's behavior. Tail agrees and asks if there's a specific reason for this suspicion. Rim orders him to find out what the suspect and the others are up to, and if things escalate, they are free to take action as needed. Back in the present, Tail tells Jae-ha and Park to avoid confrontation as much as possible. Their task is to gather information and leave. Jae-ha interrupts, saying that the victim seems strange too. He wonders if the victim is being blackmailed. Tail agrees that they'll figure it out once they get there. They arrive at a building, and the big guy enters. They rush to check it out and discover that it's a teen club. The club has become a hotspot among students recently, gaining popularity through social media. It promises to offer an outlet for teens worn out by school, but its reality might require further scrutiny. Inside the club, Jae-ha and Park are shocked by what they see. Tail orders them to split up and gather intel, believing that staying together would be tough in such a place. Jae-ha moves through the club with difficulty, longing to go home. As an INFP, he feels out of place and wonders where Tail and Park are. After some time, they meet up at a point, and Tail says they've confirmed that the bouncer is the big guy. Now they need to keep looking for anything suspicious. Alcohol, drugs, or any illegal items. If they find something, they are to secretly record it and leave. Jae-ha starts to believe that the people here are just showing off. The drinks are surprisingly clean, with only cola and tissues around, and there are even checks for cigarettes at the entrance. He begins to think they may have misread the situation, so he decides to head back for now. Suddenly, he is confronted by a scary guy who asks him about the other two, pointing at Jae-ha and Park, wondering why they are just wandering around, not ordering drinks or dancing. The guy asks if they are looking for a girl. Jae-ha, trying to stay calm, replies that he was just checking out the crowd but no one caught his eye. The guy leans closer and asks if cops are allowed to look for girls in a place like this. Jae-ha gets startled. Then, the guy raises his hand and suddenly the music stops. Jae-ha looks around in confusion as two other men appear behind him and grab him. Park is also caught. The guy smiles and introduces himself as Park Gwang-hui, the owner of the club. He asks Tail what brings them there. Jae-ha looks scared, seeing the muscular build of the man. Gwang-hui continues, saying that he heard one of his employees was questioned earlier. He asks if it's really necessary to go this far over something like this. Tail suspects Gwang-hui already knows why they are there, and responds that whether it's serious or not is up to them to decide. He tells Gwang-hui there's no need to make such a fuss over it. With a threatening look, Gwang-hui steps closer to Tail and tells him he will make it simple, just get out. He goes on to complain about the country's civil servants, saying they never crack down on freeloaders, but always hassle those who pay their taxes. Tail smiles and asks Gwang-hui if he is feeling guilty. Gwang-hui becomes enraged, stating that coming into his business and stirring things up is offensive to their image. Tail sarcastically claims that the way Gwang-hui talks is so grating. Suddenly they hear someone shouting. It's Park, who has broken free from his captors. He says if it weren't for the law, they would have been dragged out into the streets and beaten up. All the noise is annoying him. Guang Hui approaches Park, visibly impressed by him. He asks if Park works out and how much he can lift. Park replies that he did 400 last week. Guang Hui mocks him, suggesting he should use steroids. This enrages Park, and Guang Hui tries to hit him, but Park dodges the attack. Park then decides to strike back, claiming that since Guang Hui threw the first punch, from now on it's self-defense.